series, I think that there's a very strong goal. And right now, I think for Team HAQ, just learn as much as you can, right? Nova is one of the best out there. In order to be the best, you have to play with the best and learn from the best.
Well, Team HAQ, I mean, guns blazing is a bit extreme. I don't think that was really going to happen. But right now, it looks like they've got water guns as they're blazing throughout. Because again, it seems like it's a little weak on that sense. They haven't found their first game win, and that's got to be tough, right? Already losing 9 games already in quick fashion, and then going into Nova here, and then potentially getting swept. That is a feels bad, man. And we talk about the learnings and things. But that's got to be rough. So they don't want to be in that situation. And why? Again, there's even more pressure for this team to really win out in Game 3.
So Nova Esports here, they take out what I would feel is a great start to the game itself. An organ in the hands of Bai would be lovely as well, but that's not going to be possible. Lung as well taken out. Team HAQ respond with the Luna and the Zhang Fei ban, but now Nova Esports, they get their hands on the first Forge Maiden here, which is really scary, and Team HAQ ignore the Yangjian. They go for the Evernight Aspiration with the Dolia. Do you agree?
Ooh, interesting. I mean, it has a lot. Okay, look, Mon has to get that farm because if you moonscape somebody, mirage them, and then you're really under leveled, under net worth, you're gonna have a tough time. You're just gonna get destroyed. You're literally isolating yourself to die. So you have to stay alive. And Nova Esports understand that, hey, even if they took us out, even if they isolate one of us, can they really take us on one-on-one? You have the Lian Po here, the Earthshaker, very tanky, will probably survive, as well as the Trilite, who can duel very well, right? So these are nice counter picks by Nova Esports. I don't know if Mon can really get the farm to be that dangerous Haya, though.
I can see that, but I think maybe Team HAQ is trying to go as simple as possible, one step at a time, which is Haya as the Evernight Aspiration, very strong level 1 wave clear. So let's just win the lane first, and then we start thinking about that. Team HAQ's final pick in the first half of the ban pick phase is the Wild Rider, the Agudo. I think that's a great answer against Trilite and the Earthshaker as well, right? Tank Shredder for sure. So that's a good start. I just want to see what else can they use to add on to the value of what they have in this first half of the picks they've already secured for themselves for Team HAQ.
I think it'd be hilarious if Haya Mon were able to Moonscape Mirage somebody and he just like barely survives. And then you see like like Celestial Melody, so that he's like, oh, we could just do another Moonscape Mirage. But yeah, I think that it could be a potential. But I mean, isolating 2 people, I think that could be nice there. I think that, the Team HAQ lineup probably needs a little bit more in terms of what to potentially utilize that Celestial Melody.
My arrow will turn the tide
I
of
think they need
battle.
like a big tank on the side of
For who?
HAQ. They have tankiness as well, like Earthshaker. Okay, now they have lockdown in the form of the Dharma, the Martial Monk. So, and Hano as well. Okay, you know what, Nova Esports, thank you so much. This is a very tough lineup to beat.
It is going to be tough. I mean, you potentially get into Hano, right? And you can Fate Rewind. You have Dharma, who's with the Lian Po, the Earthshaker. Like, you're going to have a tough time dealing with them and getting that control. So Team HAQ right now, this is I mean, they have the Agudo. I think that you need a little bit. Okay.
What?
Really? No way. They're just hovering. No way.
What? They actually lock it in. Diao Chan, Lotus Dancer. Okay, I get it. Like, there is a potential of long drawn fights, but if Nova Esports gets that initiation that they're looking for, you have no fight. Like, where's this burst? You need burst damage to deal with Nova Esports.
Okay, so I think they took our advice to try new things to heart. And they're trying the Diao Chan, the Lotus Dancer. Okay, this is going to be an interesting one. I don't think it's been picked in the KIS thus far. No. But this
debut.
Yeah, this is the debut for sure. Interesting pick. I mean, I don't know what else to say. It seems like they're kind of squishy, which kind of worries me.
Okay, so I believe it should be an Intimidate Lotus Dancer Diao Chan for the side of John. But this particular lineup, it can work, right? Because John, if he manages to get the attention of the various members on the side of Nova, buy time long enough, then Bai really can shine in the team fights, as well as Man. But the thing now, we don't go to step number 5. Let's talk about step number 1. Can you win your lanes?
Yeah. Can you win your lanes? Can you actually just not get crumble in like the first 5-6 minutes of this game? This is like, if we're talking about like
first
lane matchups. First minute. I mean, if they decide to invade, like, they're going to really struggle. And Nova Esports have shown time and time again that they're willing to be aggressive, especially early.
I think they can't really afford to invade, not at level 1 at least. That would still be a risk. No matter how strong Nova is, that is still a risk. But the moment you get your second level, I think that is secondary camp of the buffs. Yeah, that is where Nova starts to look to strike. Because once you have level 2 Hano, he's pretty much unstoppable, right? Once he gets his second skill on to melee range, he's probably unkillable at this point.
Yeah, it's going to be a tough one. I mean, Team HAQ right now, like, they need to be aggressive, and they're trying to put the pressure on the Wendy already. But again, like, he's fine. He just stays under the tower, throwing out those scepters. And I mean, John is going to actually teleport in the top lane, you know, just get back in. This Tiao-Chan for me is throwing me in a bit of a loop here.
It is, but Bai, oh no!
Oh, he's going to get the shield. They flash on forward. Waypit not letting him go. He's going to get first blood. They're going to walk away, and now John is showing up. Mon is there as well, and they get any sort of revenge. Waypit with that dash away. The Crimson Golem has been taken as well. I mean, Nova Esports taking everything, and Wendy continuing to be aggressive, even at level 3. John's in a bad spot. He's only level 2. He dashes over the wall. Waypit thought about it. The secondary burst ramp getting him back to safety, but they're going to disengage after that.
Yeah, but the biggest damage here is not about Wendy taking away the Crimson Golem. It's not about Bai dying. It's the fact that Kongling was left untouched. He has now taken every single thing away from Bai again. And look, first minute and a half, and we already have a 1,000 goal lead. So, yeah, you know what? Team HAQ need to work better on this defense and really understand what is this Nova invasion lineup. Because how do you lose? How do you lose Bai's jungle without Kongling even invading in the first place?
I don't really know.
I'm sorry.
I'm laughing because I really don't have any answers right now, because Team HAQ right now are completely on the defensive. John has really been struggling as well. He's a level behind Xuan. And Bai struggling. 2 levels behind Konglin, who's like, you were addressing the fact that he was by himself just farming, and he's made far use of that time.
Yeah, and look, Team HAQ in the mid lane, Man finally won his lane, and still they lose. So Nova is just putting too much pressure on the Team HAQ at this point. Kongling's already at level 5. He has a 2-level advantage against Bai, right now 1, but he can jump for days. He doesn't even need the reset at this point. No Dolia, no problem.
Yeah, no Dolia, no problem. I mean, look at how they're just invading. They're imparting their will because they know that Team HAQ right now are so far behind. They're sending the house because they know that they need to at least try to defend this Crimson Golem. But it doesn't look like Konglin wants to really just go for that 50-50 smite. They're going to be back.
Yeah, Bai would do well not to use his smite at this point, right? I think he needs to save it for his Azure Golem. And at this point, I think he did use his passive, which is the release as a freebie. And you can see what Waypit is doing. I like this playstyle. You guys should really take a look at what Waypit is doing. He may not be able to steal the buff down here without taking a huge risk. But this information, once again, he gets the timing for the team. And Nova will then be able to make another good, conscious decision on what to do next.
Yeah, and not only is it about the timing and that vision, but now Team HAQ are feeling a little uncomfortable. They have to send 4 people just to ensure that Bai secures it, because you know that if it was just like one-on-one, Waypit would at least try for it with that burst ram and getting him in and out. So it's another situation where you're attracting them into a certain area while that creates space for the rest of the squad elsewhere to just farm.
I think a little is an understatement at this point. Yeah, this is so difficult. I mean, I've had difficult games, but damn, I've never had this kind of difficulty before.
Yeah, but when they're difficult at the end of the game, you just report your teammates, right? At least you have that. And this one, it's a little bit tougher, right? Because you're like, oh yeah, I just reported you in the game, but you're like, you're friends with them and you just constantly queuing with them. But now it looks like the Tyrant is up in about 4 minutes at the 4-minute mark here. But this is looking, I mean, Team HAQ are looking to start this off. But Kong Lin just making his way around. It doesn't look like they really want to defend. Maybe they'll give this up. Wendy still with them scepters on the side. Kong Lin looking for that flank. Here comes Furball. Tries to go on to Wendy, who's actually taking a decent amount, but that Fate Rewind, he sits on back. He gets back to full. The Tyrant is going to be taken by 5. That's going to be a great win, but John getting picked up on the top side of that one, near the river that is in the mid lane. He's going to be picked off though, and Mon gets killed as well.
All right, that was a decent effort coming in from the side of Team HAQ here. Man actually getting way pit out in order to reduce one of the number of tanks available on the side of Nova. Unfortunately for them, they lose that team fight. Oh no, Bai will be taken down. Truth Mantra by Xuan to make sure they secure that. It's now a 2,000 goalie, which is kind of surprising, right? Nova is not overly pressing at this point.
I mean, Bai just wants to be left alone, right? He wants to be that solitary farmer where he's just by himself, just sipping some coffee, just taking his time. But Nova Esports have been aggressive, constantly invading, hounding, contesting, making things very difficult. And Team HAQ right now have not been settled into this series.
They have not. They've been placed in a very uncomfortable position at this point, right? Where the question is, it's not even about team fights, it's about what kind of resources do we have. And Wendy is just poking them down. Every scepter of fate hurts even more and more.
Yeah, like how are you supposed to fight when the team is out, like, you know, growing you in the sense of like 1K per minute? You know, you're so far behind to take any sort of fights, and now you're getting even further behind. It is a tough situation for Team HAQ, and it looks like they're going to go with Heaven and Earth. John had been killed in the top lane as a solo by Xuan, so they're doing everything and winning all of the lanes and putting even more pressure on Team HAQ to do something. Oh, here's the Moonscape Mirage. That's going to be the first one of the day, and it looks like he's going to be locked in. Chicha, though, will get the kill. Muchi, that is, says, how dare you send me to the afterlife?
Yeah, Muchi, you know, at that point of position, it felt a little bit risky because he had already used his ultimate. But then that is where the level advantage comes in and the gold advantage comes in, right? So Muchi definitely was able to sustain a little bit longer, get the lifesteal. And with that huge range of snipe, he got the kill on demand. And right now, T3 is under pressure. Team HAQ, they're going to try their best.
Yeah, try to do their best, but the Fate Rewind zips it on back. You're like, okay, focus on me. Wendy's like the perfect tank. He shrugs off everything, because if you're looking at the roster of Team HAQ, they don't really have a lot of burst. Lola is not online in terms of that damage just yet, so they don't really have enough. So Wendy can play even more aggressive, being that front liner, and again, just staying alive, which is going to be a tough situation for Team HAQ to deal with.
Yeah, Lola needs 6 more levels and about what, 8,000 more gold at least to be able to make a stand against Nova at this point. But that's just one. Yeah, 8,000 is definitely the number here to hit 12K. Here we go, one-on-one, John.
Okay, John barely surviving on that one. That teleport, that was super close, and I think that he's going to be happy with that. But again, not really much. They haven't taken a tower, so there's really not a lot of space even to teleport. And now Waypit just forcing it down on Nuo, who's just like happily taking this.
Yeah, right now there's too much tankiness on the side of Nova, right? Who realistically are you able to take down? The question to that is no.
Yeah, really. I'm not sure how you're supposed to take them down. I mean, they're so far behind as well. So that Nova Esports, they're tankier, they're doing more damage, and they're just slow sieging you. They have, you know, this Kong Lin, and he just hounds on 4. They have an Earthbow. They find Nuo, not able to get enough to do the damage to kill him, and Nuo will survive, but they turn their attention on this bottom T3, easily taking that out with all of the space that was provided.
And so smart, right? You take a look at that movement by Nova. It's actually to push them back. It's not to get the kills, it's to push them back so that nobody clears the wave of minions coming in, so they get access to the backdoor protection being taken down, and there's a free T3 at the bottom. Team HAQ though, they need more.
Yeah, they definitely need more. Oh, nice Trevor smash! Waypit setting it up! Xuan waves the flag, he stays alive. Bai is not going to be as lucky. John is into the fountain, he gets that, but it looks like they're going to take the crystal, and Nova, just like that, will take game number 3.
Beautiful setup to end the game, and this really was spectacular because it shows you how control Nova are in this series itself. Right now, they're going to be at series point 3-0 with plenty more options for the draft to explore still.
Yeah, it doesn't look like they're really diving deep. I mean, they have so many different options. And this is why when you're playing on the international stage and you have the moment and the experience of a best of 7, it's going to make you better in the end because you are constantly going to be tested and you have to dive really deep into that hero pool, and having it just being able to continue on and to know that the draft is going to be key, but you've been there before. This is a well-versed veteran squad that is incredibly scary for any other team right now at the KIS floor.
Yes, and while this definitely is a painful lesson, I think this is a much valued lesson for the side of Team HAQ, right? Now you have to really consider, okay, the draft-wise, what do we start with? We know that the weaknesses of Team HAQ is this initial invasion. They don't have the answer to that yet. Mostly because I think it's just based on the ban picks. They don't really have the heroes that are equipped to deal with a level 1 invade. At the same time, the secondary part is, how do you play the map as Team HAQ, right? What do you do when you're losing? And I think we've asked some of the pro players this question before, and the answer was always, okay, we try to hold off, we don't really take a fight, and we try to see what value we can have in split pushes or just general wave clear. But, you know, Team HAQ, this really is a tough lesson.
Yeah, very tough lesson. I mean, the biggest thing, but it's a glaring issue and it's a fixable one, right? I think that they're going to go back into it and they're going to be like, hey, actually our early game is absolute not good. I was going to use other words, but let's just say, just go with that in that sense. I don't want to be too harsh on that team because like they need to shore those up, right? They need to figure something out. At least give them a 50-50, give themselves a chance, because right now, again, they're so far behind in the early game where the mid and late is non-existent for this team.
Yeah, they need to figure something else out, because if you give a try like over to the side of Nova, and they did this without the Dolia combination, by the way, so this is something that's really scary. Nova right now, the question for them is, my view of them in this is they're playing very standard drafts. I'm curious if they want to try something new in this potential last game in the series and explore what other kind of strategies they can pull against the other teams, because right now Team HAQ, you know their position, backs against the wall. This game, Kongling once again taking 3 kills, the most out of the team, because of the insane lead every other lane has.
Yeah, I just had so many different, like, all the lanes that went in their favor. Early game, beginning, just the way that they were able to kind of move across the map and make things very uncomfortable for Team HAQ. Again, just very little answers, very little ways to get back in. And I mean, when you only have a single kill, this is kind of what happens, right? Where you're not able to find the right pickoffs because of the positioning that is far superior by Nova Esports, and they were able to just kind of dictate the pace of this game. And we were talking about how Wendy was that frontliner just with that vision and those fate rewinds to keep him alive. He was 0-0-1. That's very pedestrian, but the damage that he dealt, those scepters were completely on point this game.
Yeah, because they were forced to be together, right? That's the biggest issue that Team HAQ had, which is one of the things you want to do when you're behind is, let's play the numbers advantage, right? 1v3, 1v4, that will be ideal for us. But when you're playing against a Hano, a Fate Turner here, that is actually to his strength, because the more targets he gets with his scepters, the more heals he gets, the more damage he gets as well.
Yeah, and that's what you want to do consistently. I mean, him and then the rest of them were just kind of the support that they were providing, even with wave pits like Tremor Smashes, and he had a highlight reel one. But let's talk a little bit about this Diao Chan Lotus Dancer. I mean, we were kind of talking about it for the draft. We had some question marks, and this is kind of why it didn't really have too much of an impact. But I mean, did we learn anything from this Diao Chan Clash Lane pick?
All right, so one of the ways that a Diao Chan actually shines as a Lotus dancer, right, is the fact that once there's no more CC, she's able to really provide value, because in long extended fights where she's not under crowd control, Lotus dancer really does shine. You can get a lot of damage and lifesteal from this pick. But the issue is, for the side of Nova, they understand this. They're very professional in their sense. They've been veteran players for a long time. And Xuan saved his Truth Mantra for John specifically. And adding on with the difficulty of the difference in the level of farm as well as experience, yeah, John just couldn't last.
Yeah, no chance. I mean, just too squishy, right? I think that the rest of the lineup, I mean, just they're really no real way to team fight. I mean, every single like lane matchup that we're seeing, the Hano versus the Haya, like this is like, I think the Hano does just fine, right? It's not too much to worry about from Haya, and every single pick was just kind of in favor of Nova Esports. So it really, again, it just sets your team up for success when you always have that slight edge in all of the different lanes.
Exactly. And this lineup, I think maybe at the start of the game, Lola does have an advantage against Muchi. But when your team plays well in the other lanes, that trickle-down effect is so scary because it's never going to be a 1v1 anymore. You're going to have Waypick coming in. You're going to have Xuan coming in. You're going to have your jungler Kong Ling coming in. So once again, it becomes an unfair advantage for the side of Nova. And when a team like Nova has a lead, they don't let go of it. They want to build upon it.
Looks like the MVP, the #1 guy. He knows it. He knows it. And of course, it will be Wendy here as he's just play on that Fate Turner, the Hano. Just too much. KDA, you're like, oh, 001. What? Like, that doesn't seem very good. But like, check the replay. I mean, the damage, the Scepters, 86,000. He was constantly just pouncing on people, just making things very uncomfortable. And of course, not dying, which is key as a Hano.
Yeah, exactly. This also means that he's pulling attention away, right? That's one of the reasons why we had that, picture perfect Tremor Smash from the side of Waypit as well, because everyone was trying to focus on Wendy, everyone was trying to focus on Xuan, and when that attention is taken away from, the important members on the side of Nova, this is where you really get the beautiful setups they're looking for.
I mean, this highlight reel is going to be rough if you're a Team HAQ fan, because the way that, look at how they're just able to push them away. John had already been killed. This is a numbers advantage already. They just clean up scraps, right? Who's left? We'll just take them down. And the prioritization from Nova Esports and their ability to just move around the map and always get the numbers advantage. Take advantage of the fact that Team HAQ are not always together on the same page as a team.
Look at that picture perfect 3-man knockup from the side of Waypit. Doesn't mind giving his life at this point because they were going to end the game anyway. And with that, Nova manages to seal the deal, at least for the second half of this best of 7 here, as they lead the series 3-0. One more does it.
One more. That's it. I mean, they're chipping a chair for Team HAQ right now, just trying to stay alive in the KIS4. Unfortunately for them, if they lose this, they're going to be out. But again, a bit of a mountain to climb. Nova